Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. Here's what's coming up this afternoon. Private sector contribution to SNIT yet to pick up from pre-COVID-19 levels as more job losses affect pension deductions. Meanwhile, government re-emphasizes commitment to absorb shortfall in lump sum payment by SNIT to public sector workers retiring this year. Coming up, as Ghana Commodity Exchange formally lists local rice onto its platform as it targets a complete transformation of the commodity value chain. Plus, on our COVID-19 success stories, we feature two amazing women entrepreneurs on the strides they chalked amid the global pandemic. Hello once again, I'm Charles Aite. We have details on all these stories coming up shortly after this break. Hello and welcome. Now, COVID-19 related job losses are hitting SNIT pension contributors from the private sector perspective. That's according to the latest real sector performance report from the Bank of Ghana. George Rafi has the rest of the story.
The report showed that ending September this year, the monetary SNIT pension contributions from the private sector dropped from a little over 250 million Ghana cedis around February this year to hit 180 million Ghana cedis ending September this year. In terms of the number of SNIT contributions by workers in the private sector, it also dropped from over 800,000 pre-COVID-19 levels to 650,000 ending September this year. This can largely be attributed to the job losses that has been recorded during the period, a move that has also affected the number of persons that are contributing to the scheme. This is because the necessary deductions are often made from the salaries of these workers. The development is coming at a time that the SNIT contributions are said to be facing some challenges. This has led to the National Pensions Regulatory Authority considering proposals to increase the percentage deductions from the salaries of workers. Others also argue that the retirement age should be actually reviewed to deal with this challenge. The Bank of Ghana in its recent report showed that the economy is picking up since the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. However, this is yet to be felt in terms of workers that are being laid off called back to work. Joy Business is even learning that some firms are still laying off workers. One can talk about the oil and gas industry, especially for the private sector related jobs. Another data from the Bank of Ghana revealed that advertised jobs on the dailies and online are still below what the country recorded in March this year. While the numbers was around 3,500 a month earlier this year, it has dropped to below 2,500. The development may show that a lot of businesses are yet to fully recover from the shocks of the pandemic, despite the Bank of Ghana's suggestions that the economy has fully picked up since the easing of restrictions.
Well, government has re-emphasized its commitment to absorb the shortfall in the lump sum payment by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, to the public sector workers who will retire this year. According to the Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister, William Oreku-Adu. The first batch of Ghanaian workers under the Pension Act are retiring this year at the age of 60. Yes, and they're expected to receive lump sum payment from their corporate trustees and monthly payment from SNIT. But speaking at the 10th anniversary celebration of the National Pension Regulatory Authority, Mr. Oreku-Adu said the government is committed to ensuring that Ghanaian workers are satisfied.
This year, Ghana's pension reforms is 10 years. A major reform initiated by our government, led at the time by His Excellency John Adekum Kufuor. It is a reform that also gave birth to the MPRE, which, among other things, is to regulate pensions through effective policy direction to secure income for the retired in the country. This year also marks the beginning of payment of benefits to retirees under Act 766. As a government, we have worked in concert with the MPRE to ensure that no worker retiring under Act 766 will be worse off. As a government, we also acknowledge some of the teething challenges in the payments and wish to note that we are working closely with the NPR and other stakeholders to address those challenges. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has assured the National Labour Front of his government's readiness to address all disparities in the payment of pension benefits to workers retiring this year. Mr. Chairman, I wish to reiterate that government will absorb the shortfall in the lump sum payment by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT to public sector workers who retire this year.
And that was Bright Rekubrobe, the Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister. Now, the three-tier scheme comprises the compulsory 13.5% contribution managed by SNIT and the 5% occupational pension scheme managed by corporate trustees. Well, still on pension-related matters, the pension assets under management of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority have hit 23 billion cedis. Despite this significant growth, the chief executive of the authority, Hayford Atakrofi, says there are few avenues of investing pension funds, a situation that cannot yield adequate return to support the various sectors of the economy. He told Joy Business that despite effects of COVID-19 on the economy, the pension industry has been very stable.
We have, in the sense that we expected some investment returns to actually not meet the expected target. But of course, that fear was from the very early onset of COVID-19. But by the end of the second quarter, we had been able to bounce back, and I would say investments have not been affected as it was initially feared. So far, we have met a good number of our targets. But of course, it would have been better without COVID-19. Beginning of the COVID restrictions and onset, the government introduced an Income Tax Amendment Act, which allowed people who had made investments in Provident Fund to be able to redeem their pensions. Even though they were supposed to have paid tax of 15% if they had not invested for 10 years or more, government was able to allow them to redeem their pensions without paying the 15% tax. So I think this is something that has been very good for the contributor. There has also been people who are in the informal sector who have been affected one way or the other by the COVID-19 to be able to redeem their group and personal pension contributions without paying any taxes. So I think in the sense of what government has been able to do, it has really alleviated the most feared, I would say, expectations that we all had. So I don't think pension has been affected as much as we all feared because of the interventions of government.
You see on your screens, local rice has finally been included onto the Ghana Commodity Exchange in what is considered a timely move to transform Ghana's rice value chain. Now, this makes the commodity the fifth to list on the BERS after maize, millet, sorghum, and other commodities. Here is the Chief Operations Officer of the GCX, Robert Donao.
We are privileged to add yet another commodity, straight milled rice. You would agree with me that the local rice industry is very key to the commodity value chains in Ghana, with almost all regions in Ghana cultivating rice. Rice in itself, being a staple food for the country, is therefore very important. It needs to be well developed to ensure that the rice value chain benefits from the structured marketing structures that the Ghana Commodity Exchange offers. Ladies and gentlemen, I see very familiar faces here, but some of you have also not been here before and therefore not had the opportunity to experience the magic that the Ghana Commodity Exchange trading systems provide. Today, I'm pleased to say you'll be part of the history being made.
Let's stay on this issue because I engaged the CEO of the GCX, Tushi Ivobi, at the trade platform on some crucial topics, including what the prospects for Ghana's local rice industry hold. Here's more.
We have witnessed the historic listing of milled rice onto the BERS. What exactly does this mean for the entire value chain?
It simply means that people can now come to a centralized platform to sell or to buy rice. They don't have to go around markets looking for it because we bring buyers and sellers together. And once you're integrated within our trading platform, trades can be done as quickly as, a few seconds. So we're making life a little bit easier when it comes to the marketing of rice after post-production. Before that, it also means that we're helping when it comes to storage and warehousing. So today you can find rice in the open market, but sometimes farmers will produce their rice, but they have nowhere to store it. So, they struggle, they'll lose some of it to post-harvest losses. Now, the more warehouses we bring on board, they can store their rice until they're ready to sell, and then hopefully get better markets, more fair and transparent pricing. Yeah.
Of course, it's very timely, the initiative that you've taken, because we continue to report cases of a rice glut across the country and issues of post-harvest losses. But how best can this transform the face of rice farming in Ghana?
I think the more we're able to produce, given that we're able to store the rice, we can start to actually have access to local rice or Ghana rice that we can consume. After that, if we have excess, we can actually start to export. Today, we say that we need to import rice. On the one hand, it's because we're not producing enough, but at the same time, some of what's being produced is being lost, to post-harvest losses, poor storage conditions. So this is just one of the, let's say, interventions that's coming to help to improve the value chain. We can store rice, not lose it to losses just because of poor storage conditions, sell it within our market, consume it, and continue to increase production so that we can eventually even export some good rice.
Well, this is a platform that brings buyers and sellers, and from the standpoint of sellers, they're looking at quality. How is the platform insisting on quality and even helping rice farmers to have their products much more of a, that particular spec that meets the demand of the sellers?
Okay, I think there are two things when we talk about quality. There's literally the basic quality. You want to make sure that this rice is clean, it's devoid of insects, foreign matter. So we ensure that. That's part of our our premise.
Sure.
Everything that is sold through the exchange is guaranteed for quality. It means that it's certified by the Ghana Commodity Exchange. Before that, it's actually certified. Our warehouses are certified by the Ghana Standards Authority and by the Securities and Exchange Commission. They're licensed. So they make sure that we stick to all of these rigorous procedures when it comes to quality. So anyone coming to buy through the exchange, that is our stamp of guarantee. We insure the commodities even in the warehouses. So if there's going to be any degradation in terms of quality, the exchange will make good. There is not a single buyer that will buy 1 grain of rice that will be of a quality that they have not paid for. That is our guarantee.
Great. Yeah. But Tushi, we're having this discussion in the wake of a low consumption rate of local rice. How do you balance this deficit?
So that's the second part of when we talked about quality. I'd say that we can produce 100% quality rice in Ghana. Now there are types and varieties of rice. So people talk about importing rice or preferring perfumed rice and Thai rice. This is really just about variance. And this is when you come to production, we can produce perfumed rice. We can produce it's not basmati, that's a brand from India, but we can produce different types of rice. So the more the rice value chain is developed, I guess the more investors are willing to invest in different types of mills to produce these different variants that Ghanaians are growing to love. It's 100% possible. So this is a starting point. At least first we make sure that we can produce more rice for people to actually consume. Then we can produce the types of varieties that people want. So I think the exchange is one player, but this actually opens doors to so many other businessmen and women who are interested in even looking at rice production and marketing.
I must add that we're not just having this discussion on the trade platform, the Ghana Commodity Exchange, but also the Secretariat of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. And it begs the question about the various processes and even interventions you're making, repositioning yourself to take advantage of this single African market.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it's actually exciting times. We've had meetings with the African Continental Free Trade Secretariat, and this is certainly an opportunity that everyone sees as a positive one for the development of this regional trade bloc. The Commodity Exchange is a platform that has been launched in Ghana, but it is a virtual platform, and we can access buyers and sellers literally anywhere in the world.
Right.
And our plan was to start in Ghana, make sure that our systems are robust and we can benefit the Ghanaian market.
Interesting discussion there with the CEO of the Ghana Commodity Exchange. Well, the exchange started in November 2018. It serves as the marketplace where buyers and sellers transact business through structured pricing regimes. We shall keep a keen eye on how this evolves in the future to give you updates. But you're still watching the marketplace. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with our successful COVID-19 stories to stay. And welcome back to the program. Now, we're still telling the COVID-19 success stories of young entrepreneurs and innovative minds in Ghana. And today, our focus will be on two amazing women. Maureen Odoye is Executive Director for the Africa Aurora Business Network, a niche business entity that trains young entrepreneurs and connects them with investment opportunities. Also joining us is Francesca Opoku, the CEO of Beauty Secrets line of products. Great to see you, ladies, and welcome to the program. Of course, I want to start off with you. If you could unmute your microphones. I want to start off with you, Maureen. It's been a very difficult year for entrepreneurs, and I believe an opportunity for young and brilliant minds like yourself to harness the opportunities that come with COVID-19. Tell us a story.
Thank you very much, Charles, and good afternoon to your valued listeners and audience. Well, I would say that if a leader is to grow constantly, then every day presents an opportunity to be the best that you can. I believe the COVID-19 pandemic has come along with a lot of challenges and heartbreaking news for businesses and for families. But at AAPN, we look at opportunities that is also presented. And I will say we have opportunity to serve and serve so much that.
Well, I think we're having a mix there, Maureen, with your connection. But let me rope in Francesca, because you are into the makeup industry. And of course, I believe that you also felt a pinch. Customers could not come over. Even if they did, they were very much anxious about the human-to-human contact. But how has it been for you, Francesca, during the COVID-19 period for your business?
So just as a point of correction, I'm into the natural skincare products.
Okay, that's great.
We make natural products from shea butter under the Beauty Secrets brand.
Great.
And like every entrepreneur, COVID was just like a crazy time. We're all kind of confused. Everything just dropped unexpectedly. All our plans went crazy. But fortunately for us, because we plan well, and because we're quick to adaptation and we're able to re-strategize, first thing we did was to ensure that we're not sending all these young, vibrant people we've been working with over years back home, so their families would not suffer. And we also decided that it was a fantastic time to look onto the local market so that we could cover even more ground and let the local people enjoy more of our Beauty Secrets products. And that is how we managed to survive the pandemic.
So, I mean, how was the margin in terms of business profits having to take this particular strategy, Francesca?
So in the first 2 months, our sales dropped by about 70%. What I mean is that we're doing just about 30% of what we were doing before. And that was very frightening. We're just wondering how we're going to be able to cover our overheads and to stay in business. But thankfully, due to good planning, that is one. Due to the support of my team, that is two, because we had to make a lot of internal changes to make sure that we stayed afloat. And also, on the third, thanks very much to the government stimulus program run by the NDSSI.
Great.
We got some input to kind of like hold together.
Great.
So right now, we kind of feel like things are getting back to normal.
Great.
Thanks to the three things I've mentioned.
Let me rope in Maureen, because Francesca makes the point, three important points here. She talks of planning, she talks of good support, and that of the government stimulus package. But from your point of view, Maureen, from where you're sitting, do you think these three things really help sustain businesses? And if not just more than these three factors, could you share the deficit for us?
Thank you very much once again for having me. I'll say that she's very right about that. From a business development and service organization point of view, what you talked about is critical. Access to funding, access to markets, and access to business development support. And it's so interesting because at the time that COVID hit, at AABN, what happened was most of our funders and our partners just stopped their projects because you can't interact with the people out there. So funding was seized. It was very challenging. So what did we do? After all, we have a team of 50 technical business advisors. We have our facilities. We have our technical know-how. So what do? We designed programs targeting business associations, young entrepreneurs associations, and also women networks. So when we designed this, we co-designed or co-created what they really wanted because of the challenges that they were facing. We worked with the Chamber of Commerce, Accra Chamber of Commerce. We worked with the WISEC, Youth Sector Engagement Group. We worked with the Wise Connections Marketplace.
Great.
We worked with the Ghana Traditional Caterers Association. Guess what? We provided them with technical support to those resilience and recovery plans into their businesses. We helped them with their business planning. We supported them to apply for the government COVID relief because most of them couldn't complete their forms and they needed help. So we provided them with that support.
And the list goes on and on. I guess you have been really busy during the COVID-19 period, Maureen. We're so grateful for this story. Francesca, your story really motivated me, and of course that of so many other entrepreneurs watching us this afternoon. We're grateful that you shared the stories, and if you're out there, you want to share your stories with us, do get in touch with us as we tell the successful COVID-19 stories in the month of December. But away from that, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, has launched the Climate Smart Cocoa Agroforestry Research in Ghana project to enhance cocoa sustainability. The project seeks to determine the climate smartness of existing cocoa varieties, cocoa nutrition, shade trees, as well as farmers' perspectives on social resilience on cocoa agroforestry. It is meant to improve yield, income, and adaptation in cocoa landscapes in Ghana.
Cocoa gives jobs to approximately 1 million smallholder farmers in Ghana and contributes to about 10% of agricultural GDP. The principal investigator, Dr. Victor Respans, revealed the project was birthed by some researchers through their interaction with cocoa farmers.
ClimCAC project seeks to assess the climate smartness of existing cocoa varieties and the shade trees that are in the cocoa, and also the way the cocoa is fed. And then we also looking at the farmers' resilience, the practices they have, and to be able to, and then at the same time, upload their phones and so on for information that they can all use all these results, and at the same time promote the development of their cocoa in terms of yield, in terms of climate change resilience, and then also ensuring the total resilience of the cocoa landscape in Ghana. The research, it was prompted actually by the complaints from farmers and from some scientists as well. And some researches that some scientists they've done, we have seen that actually if we don't intervene, our cocoa will go away.
The project is being implemented by the KNUST, University of Aarhus, and University of Copenhagen, both in Denmark, in collaboration with the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana. It will involve farms in Affirms municipality and Adansi North District and scientific laboratories in Ghana and Denmark. The 5-year project is supported by the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the NIDA Fellowship Center. Mr. Barkumi is an extension officer at Bofiedru District.
And then this project is going to be beneficial to me as an extension officer as I train. I meet with farmers, discuss issues with them, and it also be beneficial to my stakeholders being the farmers, because we have been planting so many seedlings of late, but they also been complaining of them dying out.
Nana Mwakupoku, a farmer at Offenso, added the project will help resolve the climate-related problems faced by farmers.
Unlike my father's days, the weather has changed, and most of our cocoa farms, the trees are fading. Most of the cocoa trees are becoming yellowish. The leaves are becoming yellowish due to the drought. But our zone is it bounds the savannah region, Kumada and the rest. So about 4 precisely where my farm is experiencing those weather changes.
Well, that's how we draw the curtains on this edition of The Marketplace. My name is Charles. I am grateful that you joined us. Enjoy the rest of our programs.